So, what if I told you that in the very near future, the way we think about investing could become almost impossible? Today, we're diving into a playbook for a financial world that's been completely turned on its head. A world where artificial intelligence might be the only guide you can trust. And it all kicks off with one pretty shocking prediction.
Okay, let's set the scene. The date is February 2nd, 2026, and on this day, the assessment is that markets have become so wild, so unpredictable, that traditional trading is, and I quote, next to impossible. I mean, that's a huge claim, right? So what on earth could happen to lead to such a dramatic conclusion?
Well, it all apparently started with a single event, one big shock to the system that sparked a massive crisis of confidence in the markets. The catalyst? A sudden, brutal crash in gold and silver. And for a lot of people, this wasn't just some run-of-the-mill correction. No, this felt different. It was a sign that something fundamental had broken, kicking off a new era of just extreme, off-the-charts volatility. So what's really driving all this chaos? The theory is that this wasn't random at all. It was a pre-planned, coordinated attack on the market. The accusations point to international traders who manipulated everything, timing their moves perfectly with a U.S. Federal Reserve announcement to cause maximum damage. So if this is the new normal, how can anyone possibly trade in it?
The proposed answer isn't to just, try harder with the same old tools. Nope. It's to change the game completely by pivoting to an entirely different class of assets.
The core strategy is to do what the big institutions do when things get crazy, move into futures and options. The logic is actually pretty simple. If the market is fundamentally changed, then the tools you use have to change right along with it.
And this slide really breaks down the difference. See, stocks are mostly a bet on direction. You're betting a stock will go up, or maybe down. But futures and options are totally different. They're tools designed to let you trade the volatility itself. That means you can actually profit from massive market swings, no matter which direction they go. They have built-in protection and can offer, as the source calls it, unlimited profitability, which makes them way better suited for these chaotic markets.
Okay, but trading complex things like futures and options in a market that's moving at the speed of light, that requires a completely new kind of playbook. And in this vision of the future, that playbook is created from top to bottom by artificial intelligence.
And listen, we're not just talking about AI as a helper here. The claim is that the entire process, from scanning the news and data to coming up with very specific trade strategies, is 100% automated. The human's job just becomes to oversee the whole operation, not run it.
Every day, the AI spits out a report called the Strategic Landscape, and you can think of it like your own personalized intelligence briefing for the trading day. It highlights the best potential opportunities across currencies, commodities, you name it, all ranked and detailed for you.
And here's a perfect snapshot of what that looks like. On this particular day, the AI suggested a high-risk play on silver's volatility, a risk reversal for the Japanese yen, and check this out, a low-risk bull call spread on the Canadian dollar. That last one is basically a strategy that profits if the currency goes up just a bit. And it came with a 70% projected win ratio and only an 8% max drawdown. It's like a menu of trade ideas, each with its own flavor of risk.
But look, an idea is just an idea until you can test it, right? And this is where the speed of AI becomes an actual superpower. The system doesn't just give you a suggestion. It instantly generates the code you need to test it.
The whole workflow is just incredibly slick. First, the AI finds a potential opportunity. Second, it literally writes a custom Python app just to analyze that one specific trade. Third, that app runs a backtest against all the historical data. And finally, it runs something called a walk-forward test to see how it might perform in the future. So, how long does all of this take? Minutes. Seriously. A process of developing and validating a complex trading strategy that would traditionally take a team of quantitative analysts weeks of coding and testing can now be done in the time it takes you to drink a cup of coffee. That's not just an improvement, that's a complete game changer in the speed of finance. To really see this in action, let's zoom in on that low-risk Canadian dollar trade the AI found. It was flagged as one of the best opportunities of the day, so it got put through that instant testing process.
And the results were, well, pretty impressive. The test on historical data showed a solid 9.65% return with just an 8% max drawdown. But here's the magic. The forward-looking test, the walk-forward test, projected an almost identical return of 9.5%. That kind of close alignment between past performance and future projection, that's exactly what you want to see. It suggests you've got a really robust, low-risk strategy on your hands.
Now that term, walk-forward analysis, it's super important. See, unlike a simple backtest that can sometimes fool you, a walk-forward analysis is much more rigorous. It's constantly optimizing a strategy on older data and then testing it on newer data it's never seen before. It's a much more realistic simulation of how a strategy would actually perform in the real world in real time.
So let's take a step back and look at the big picture. What are the real implications of an approach like this? I mean, is this what the future of trading looks like for everybody?
What we're really looking at here is a completely new paradigm for trading. The core idea is that in these super complex, distorted markets, our human intuition is just too slow. Success now depends on pure speed, on processing insane amounts of data, and on validating your ideas almost instantly. All things that AI is perfectly built to do.
And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. For decades, being a smart investor meant doing deep research, having great intuition, and being patient. But if an AI can do all of that and probably more in just a matter of minutes, what does being a smart investor even mean anymore? That's something to chew on. Thanks for joining us.